I was sitting with my 10-year-old son the other day when he asked me a simple question. Hey, Dad, what is water? I stopped to think for a moment before I gave him an explanation. Obviously, for those of you who've had any sort of chemistry, water is a compound. It's H2O. So that's what I said. He said, yes, Dad, I already know that. It's on almost all the water bottles that I have. I had to chuckle for a moment, as indeed the water that he gets most often does have H2O on the side. I asked him, do you even know what H2O is? Somewhere after asking that question, I entered my own space up here in my head, contemplating just what is water? Simply saying H2O doesn't actually mean much, does it? Yes, I know that means there are 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen, and I know some of the chemistry around it, and I remember putting together the giant connected molecule balls in chemistry class in high school. I remember learning about the number of electrons that orbit and how those interact together in the molecule, and I even remember when I learned in college that this simple fact of knowledge isn't exactly true, which led me back to the same question my son asked me. What is water? When it comes to faith, spirituality, theology, beliefs, ideology, values, religion, we all have these questions, and oftentimes we have some assumed thoughts and some beliefs and ideas that we use to answer those questions. But when we examine them closely and when we consider all our various areas of knowledge, our answers don't seem to really answer our questions, do they? For me and for my son, water is something that quenches our thirst. It is something that each and every human being needs to live, craves. It's something that's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful when found in a waterfall. It's wonderful when it falls out of the sky onto the land. But it's also a force of nature that can overturn, destroy, devastate. Simply saying water is H2O doesn't exactly get to my experience with water. See, water is a lived reality and not just a formula in a science book or even in my head. The same thing goes for faith. If someone asks me what I believe, I can certainly list off a whole list of beliefs that are common to people in my faith, community, and religion. But that's not what I really believe. What I really believe is a lived encounter and experience. I want the world to be more generous and compassionate. I want people to be friendlier with one another. I want the freedom to be more vulnerable and open myself. I crave authenticity. At Between, we're entirely focused on helping you transform daily interactions into moments of divine and sacred connection between real people. We want to enable you to not just have a list of beliefs in your head, but a litany of lived experiences with real people. We want you to feel the sacred everywhere you go. We want to welcome and affirm and celebrate everyone and the spaces between everyone here at Between. So join me in a spirit of prayer. Today, I pray for a theology and a faith that is real and not just in my head. Today, I pray that I will go beyond formulas and facts and instead have an embodied truth. One that comes into spaces between me and others, that fills the spaces with love, light, and life. Today I pray. Amen. This week I invite you to ask curious questions just like my son did. What is water? What is this food I have in front of me? What are those beautiful mountains over there? Why am I in tears? What is rest? What is this work I'm involved in? What is this relationship I have? What is the sacred? And rather than trying to provide a list of intellectual answers, let's answer these questions with intentional decisions in real life. A slower sip of water, chew my food a little longer, linger in my look at the mountains. I don't hold back the tears. That I cultivate spaces for true rest. That I'm more intentional in my work. I don't take my relationships for granted, but instead foster the space between me and the sacred individuals in my life. Between is about you. Fill every space between you and another with divine light. My favorite church is a space between people. So go with God's love and create the church between.